Bài mai con cái rồi đấy. Hỏi với mấy cái chiên của mà trước không hỏi mấy chiên việc bị phải đâu hỏi mấy.
Wait. Dạ. Khỏi giới thiệu, em ghi cho họ luôn.
Hả?
Ghi luôn cho họ.
Tôi cái kinh doanh cái món bánh canh là người đầu tiên mang bánh canh của vào Sài Gòn. Thứ nhất là từ cái sở thích của mang bánh canh. Và khi mà bắt đầu mà kinh doanh thì nghĩ là cái người đi xa quê hương ấy mà nhìn thấy cái lò bánh họ sẽ thích, họ sẽ nhớ đến quê hương của họ là miền Trung. Và thứ hai với người Sài Gòn thì món bánh canh rất là lạ. Và tôi nghĩ điều đó cũng là một cái điểm thuận lợi khi mà tôi kinh doanh cái bánh canh ở Sài Gòn. Từ hai cái suy nghĩ đó tôi đã kinh doanh ở Sài Gòn và hình như tôi là người đầu tiên mang bánh canh vào Sài Gòn. Từ tôi đã thành công điều đó. Và từ sự thành công đó tôi có cơ hội mang bánh canh và với tôi nghĩ là món bánh canh là một cái món ăn truyền thống của Việt Nam. Và nên là khi tôi mang đi ra Singapore và có cơ hội ra qua Trung Quốc, tôi nghĩ đó là một cái điều kiện tôi giới thiệu với bạn bè thế giới về cái văn hóa ẩm thực của Việt Nam. Để được chưa? Khi tôi kinh doanh cái món bánh căn này với cái hai cái suy nghĩ là qua cái lò bánh á, những người mà đi xa cái miền Trung á, qua cái lò bánh là sẽ có thể nhớ lại được quê hương của mình. Và đối với người Sài Gòn á thì món bánh căn rất là xa lạ. Và tôi nghĩ điều đó là một cái điều hấp dẫn. Và từ khi hai suy nghĩ đó tôi đã quyết định là kinh doanh cái món bánh căn ở Sài Gòn. Mà tôi là người đầu tiên mang bánh căn của miền Trung vào Sài Gòn. Và từ đó là sự cũng đã thành công luôn. Và cũng nhờ sự thành công đó tôi có cơ hội để được sang Singapore và Trung Quốc, và tôi đã quyết định mang bánh căn và bánh xèo. Lần đi thứ nhất là 2013 nó rất thành công ở hai nước Singapore và Trung Quốc. Và lần này là 2015 thì mình tham gia một lần nữa ở đại hội ẩm thực thế giới tổ chức tại Singapore. Và thực sự là tôi rất là vui mừng vì đó là hai cơ hội để tôi giới thiệu với thế giới, bạn bè thế giới về một cái món ăn đặc trưng của dân tộc, và lớn hơn nữa là giới thiệu về văn hóa ẩm thực của Việt Nam. Okay. All day? Wow. You too? All day? No. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah. You want to make this? You want to say it? How many? Big, small. What is big? How many?
Those are my tapas. A tapas bar, a pastry shop, a tea shop. And then foods from the rest of the world, and certainly these slides are not supposed to represent all of the rest of the world, just a little bit of it. But it gives you the idea of the diversity. And, you know, it's the traditional ways that each city, region, culture displays their food that also makes it special. Whether it's the jamons hanging from the UN Ambassador of Food, and we would like all the countries in the world to send us your ambassadors, to represent yourself, to have a voice. This is, this beautiful drawing, by the way, is by Roman and Williams, who...
The Bourdain market, does anybody have any questions? Anybody have any ideas what this should be? Maybe you'll take ideas from them to feedback. Please.
It's kind of a two-part question, but one is, a lot of what makes great street food cultures when you go to the streets of Hanoi, or even here in my 5 hours so far in Singapore, is that there's always sort of the threat that the guy, somebody's going to set up 5 feet down from you doing a better fishball noodle or doing a better bun cha. So with sort of this larger market where everybody's outside of their normal market, where there is kind of that constant threat, how do you feel that that's going to play into keeping up quality and preventing people from compromising or catering to New Yorkers' tastes? And then kind of going with that, a lot of what makes a street food culture when you walk into the hawker stands or when you walk down the street in Hanoi or wherever, or Mexico City, is that there's a culture of, there's a lot of tacos there, there's a lot of different dishes being made there of a similar type. And it tells a story, and we talked about storytelling when we talked about the Indonesian food. So how does that play into how these hawkers are set up and what they're able to cook and to tell?
Well, the first part of the question first. Will it be of high quality and high standard? Will it remain competitive when there's not competition? Will it remain authentic for those who really know what it should taste like? And I mean, the short answer is it better be. The longer answer is that is a lot of the due diligence and hard work that we will put in identifying and partnering with those who are proud and experienced and many times multi-generational in the wonderful things, the wonderful food that they produce. And I think if you were to drag Paul back on the stage here and say, if there was no competition and no one was looking, would your food be as delicious? He would say, look, that's what it's all about. So I think that the great chefs, the great hawker vendors, those whose food is most delicious, those who have the longest lines, I really believe in my heart that that is not because there's 6 other places in the hawker center to buy it from. I believe that it's as delicious, as dangerously delicious as it is because they personally would not accept anything less.
I would think, short answer to that, yes, there will be competition. It's food democracy. So one reason why Stephen mentioned Saul may be there for a few weeks, a few months, for a few years, because we'll get the opportunity to kick them out should somebody come along and they underperform. Because like you said, chicken rice, we can sell chicken rice. It's going to be at least 10 chicken rice standard. When you go there, yeah, I'm home in Singapore, right here in Canada, because food pleasured me, brought me home. And your other question about tacos, too much tacos, maybe you want to check out the food streets in Singapore, Malaysia, or hawker centers, and then I'm very sure you'll change. There's way more than tacos in this neck of the woods. Tacos is very nice, very friendly, very exportable. It's finger food, the ultimate finger food. there is a planet, a universe of street food culture in India. 6 million hawkers now legitimized, and Indonesia. Yeah. Any other question?
Spices are talking about fresh produce, and we do believe that the pantry will be very full, and we will make a big effort to do that. And Sito had touched on the fact that we're going to have a large area, which we call the Global Spotlight, that's not
Great start.
Now the reason why I organized the World Street Food Congress, because street food is, I think, the world's greatest, most enduring food culture. People for hundreds of years have been eating comfort heritage food, and I thought in today's world, people are maybe getting lazier. They want to eat fast food, convenient food. They want to eat fancy food, but food is culture to me, and a lot of our cultures are protected in heritage street food. And I thought there must be a world of opportunities here. We shouldn't let those opportunities die. So I created this conversation, what people are doing, how people are doing things, who's doing what. Everybody in the world of street food business hook up and meet up and grow this whole movement. It's really about opportunities. Once we create all these opportunities, there's opportunities for you, for me, for them. We can just pluck all these fruits. And that is a key reason I want to address continuity, sustainability. And you asked about Vietnam. I know Vietnam does not have a street food culture. People on the streets are removed, you know, like in Singapore maybe 50, 40 years ago. It's both a good and bad thing. Once you remove people from the street and you don't let them come back, maybe a part of your food heritage dies with it. So if you want to remove people from the streets because you want to keep the streets clean, it's okay. But I think you should give them opportunities to vend, to make a living, humble, simple living, selling food that represents Vietnam. And mind you, Vietnam's food culture is one of the greatest food culture in the world. But because I think they're not given a chance to offer authentic Vietnam food simply or cheaply anywhere in Vietnam, Vietnam food may be dying. So the irony is this: Vietnamese outside of Vietnam is preserving Vietnam food. So I think we should marry up and now take this Vietnam food culture into the next, into tomorrow, and create more opportunities, because the world would come to Vietnam for a bowl of pho, or your there's so many, your ban xiao, your banh mi. The world will come. Plate a bowl of good noodles or Vietnamese food is a tourism icon. So think about it. It's opportunities, it's economics, it's also something the world loves. But Vietnam food. So we're talking about Vietnamese food in Singapore. There are a lot of Vietnamese restaurants, high-end restaurants, mid-class, and even hawker stalls. That's how popular, that's the appeal of Vietnamese food. If you go to Joo Chiat, there is a Vietnamese restaurant. Singaporeans, young Singaporeans, ready with their camera to Instagram the food. It's lining up for the food there because the flavors are so clean, so clear, they're very expressive. And this is the kind of food the world will love. So if Singaporeans can come, if the world can come to Singapore and like Vietnamese food, I think the world will go to Vietnam to love Singapore or Vietnamese food. If you get the street food structure, business model and operations and economics correct. For example, if I close a street in District 1 or 2 and turn it into a food street, properly organized, where food vendors change every year, keep it clean, international style of operations, hygiene and food handling, I think I'll be the first to go. It would be fantastic. The best of Vietnam in one street.